Donald Trump had essentially called on the NATO to lead the US's operation in acquiring Greenland. Trump has repeatedly said that any country that comes forward to oppose its stance on Greenland would be imposed with more tariffs. None of the European Union countries not essentially buying what Trump has to say, viewers, but he maintains that Greenland should come under the jurisdiction of the US, and his latest threat came just days after the Venezuela capture. And viewers, we'll slip into a short break on that note, but we'll stay and cover the live visuals that are coming in from Denmark in just a short while.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So I mean, if
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा,
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force. So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it.
U.S. has proven its military capacity in Operation Midnight Hammer, where the United States military bombed Iran's nuclear facilities. U.S. B-2 stealth bombers, which flew a secretive and historic long-range.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Thank you for being with us this Saturday evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Live and Breaking at 5 p.m. with me, Oyana Mitra. We'll break down what has been happening in West Bengal's Murshidabad for you just months ahead of the elections. There is yet again a complete breakdown of law and order, all under Mamata Banerjee's watch. Zero action from the Bengal police. That and a lot more for you, but first the headlines. Mobs in West Bengal target Chicken's Neck route. Miscreants block key highways. Free run to mobs under Mamata Banerjee's watch. Trains and highways blocked. Stone pelting reported in Murshidabad's Beldanga district.
टीएमसी के नेता सालों से यहां घुसपैठियों को बसाने, उन्हें वोटर बनाने का खेल खेल रहा है.
Prime Minister Modi attacks TMC government, says Mamata Banerjee using infiltrators as voters ahead of the elections. Political violence in Bengal over SIR, BDO office vandalized, forms torn apart and burnt. BJP flags infiltration crisis on Bengal-Karnataka train route to Railway Ministry, says national security being compromised. Congress MLA Phul Singh makes controversial remark, justifies rape. Later defense statement. No word from Congress top brass on MLA's shameful remark. Rahul Gandhi seen with Phul Singh in Madhya Pradesh. Another lawsuit filed in Sanjay Kapoor's inheritance battle. Priya Sachdev sues sister-in-law Mandira Kapoor. It's a big boost to Indian defense. Proposal to acquire 114 Rafale jets cleared. All right, viewers, violence and large-scale disruption were reported in parts of West Bengal's Murshidabad district, particularly in Beldanga during the Prime Minister's visit to the state earlier today. He was campaigning in Malda. Now, in Murshidabad, protesters blocked railway tracks and major highways, including the critical route that links Murshidabad to Siliguri and the strategic Chicken's Neck corridor. Rail services were halted after a ruthless mob lay down on the tracks, blocked railway gates and pelted stones. The BJP has accused the Trinamool Congress government and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee of allowing mob rule, claiming that police maintained only a skeletal presence and failed to act decisively even after nearly 48 hours of unrest. On your screens now, viewers, the two-window visuals showing how the railway tracks were blocked, the National Highway 12 and National Highway 34 blocked by these miscreants. Just about 48 hours ago, the first instance of violence was reported. But when asked in a press conference yesterday, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee washed her hands off, completely shunned responsibility from the matter, saying there is not much that can be done in this situation. Now, these protests were reportedly sparked by a local issue but escalated into a widespread law and order challenge, prompting claims of administrative failure, which the state government has blatantly denied. All right, before we move on to show you more, viewers,
She and her administration are doing this type of job. They are completely patronize the criminal, the goons, and supporting the anti-national forces. For that reason, this type of hooliganism, incident, a lawlessness are happening in everyday MD hours.
That was the statement, the first statement that was coming in from West Bengal leader of opposition Shubhendu Adhikari, essentially questioning the state of law and order in West Bengal under Mamata Banerjee. Now, what has happened in Bengal over the last 48 hours, viewers, is that small issue, a local issue over the killing of a migrant worker quickly escalated. There were mobs that were essentially gathered near these two very critical highways that essentially lead up to India's Chicken's Neck corridor. And these mobs, they pelted stones, they targeted railway officials, they blocked trains from passing through that route. They completely took over the area of Beldanga. And what we saw over there was a complete breakdown of law and order. In fact, now on your screens, viewers, is a visual that was exclusively accessed by Republic Bangla. In this visual, you see young boys, small minor boys, bringing in sacks and sacks of stones. Look at that, viewers. You see young boys bringing in sacks and sacks of stones, placing it on the railway tracks, essentially blocking the routes. They are being endorsed by the locals over there. Nobody is taking any action. The Bengal police turned absolute mute spectators to the entire situation. And you can see over there, while attempts are being made to stop the transport network in North Bengal, in Murshidabad over there, you can see a train has been halted, and there is a pole that has been put up with the picture of the migrant worker who was killed in Jharkhand.
দেশের ভবিষ্যতে এরা বুঝতে পারছো, দেখছো ট্রেন ওরা কিরকম অবরোধ করতে হয় এরা জানে। এই ছোট ছোট ছেলেবেলাই বস্তা বস্তা করে পাথর লেগে রেল লাইন কিরকম আটকে রেখে দিয়েছে। এই যে এই ভাইটা পরশুদিনকে মেরে গলায় দড়ি দিয়ে এই যে রাস্তায় ফেলে রেখে গেছে। বুঝতে পারলে তোমরা বেশি বেশি করে শেয়ার করো, সবাই বেড়ে নেওয়া চলেছে রাস্তা অবরোধ করার জন্য। দেশের ভবিষ্যতে এরা বুঝতে পারছো, দেখছো ট্রেন ওরা কিরকম অবরোধ করতে হয় এরা জানে। এই ছোট ছোট ছেলেবেলাই বস্তা বস্তা করে পাথর লেগে রেল লাইন কিরকম আটকে রেখে দিয়েছে। এই যে এই ভাইটা পরশুদিনকে মেরে গলায় দড়ি দিয়ে এই যে রাস্তায় ফেলে রেখে গেছে। বুঝতে পারলে তোমরা বেশি বেশি করে শেয়ার করেছো রাস্তা অবরোধ করার জন্য। দেশের ভবিষ্যতে এরা বুঝতে পারছো, দেখছো ট্রেন ওরা কিরকম অবরোধ করতে হয় এরা জানে। এই ছোট ছোট ছেলেবেলাই বস্তা বস্তা করে পাথর লেগে রেল লাইন কিরকম আটকে রেখে দিয়েছে। এই যে এই ভাইটা পরশুদিনকে মেরে গলায় দড়ি দিয়ে এই যে রাস্তায় ফেলে রেখে গেছে। বুঝতে পারলে তোমরা বেশি বেশি করে শেয়ার করো, সবাই বেড়ে নেওয়া চলেছে রাস্তা অবরোধ করার জন্য।
Our viewers, meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi, who was earlier today in Malda, he has sharply criticized the TMC government over the infiltration issue. He has said that the Mamata government is converting infiltrators into their vote bank in West Bengal. Listen in.
यहाँ की टीएमसी सरकार बहुत ही निर्दयी है, बहुत ही निर्मम है केंद्र सरकार गरीबों के लिए जो पैसा भेजती है उस पैसे को यहां टीएमसी के लोग लूट लेते हैं। टीएमसी के लोग बंगाल के मेरे गरीब भाई बहनों के दुश्मन बने हुए हैं। उन्हें आपकी तकलीफ की कोई चिंता नहीं है, वो तो अपनी तिजोरियां भरने में जुटे हुए हैं।
NH-12 को रोक दिया गया है, सारी रेल सर्विस ठप पड़ी हुई है। क्या भारत का हिस्सा नहीं है? क्या लोग NH-12 पे चल नहीं सकते? ट्रेन जलाई जा रही है तो ममता बनर्जी उसे जस्टिफाई कर रही है। वो कह रही है ये नाराजगी है माइनॉरिटीज की। अभिषेक बनर्जी से पूछा जाता है तो वो कहते हैं नाम कटेगा तो प्रोटेस्ट तो होगा ही। और इतना ही नहीं, आप सब हमारे बंधु हैं। You are the fourth pillar of democracy. If we are a pillar of democracy as the legislature, you are one of the pillars of democracy to uphold.
All right, let's go across to my colleague Kishalay, who joins us on the phone line. Kishalay, it is absolutely appalling how a chief minister, a sitting chief minister, elected chief minister of a state can so brazenly dismiss what is happening in her state. I mean, the least that you could expect was for her to visit the site, to take stock of the situation. But all that we've heard from Mamata Banerjee so far, Kishalay, is that there is nothing that can be done in this situation, essentially giving a complete free run to these mobs.
Well, yesterday, Mamata Banerjee made a shocking comment saying that today's Friday, they assemble here, and if they do it, what can I do? It's not really in my hand. That is what she said yesterday. Today, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi came to Bengal and he has expressed his anguish over the situation, as you rightly pointed out. And we have seen how the situation in Bengal is dire, out of hand, completely chaotic, and how law and order situation is collapsing in Murshidabad and adjoining areas. Now, I'll give you some updates. About 30 people have been arrested by the police in this case. But the local people are saying, people of Bengal are saying that the way in which parts of Murshidabad was completely cut off from the rest of the country, how national highway was blocked, how the railway was blocked. Arresting near 30 people is not really enough. Things need to be done. Situation needs to be under control. Additional police forces have been sent to Murshidabad. The chief minister has said yesterday that I cannot really do anything about it. She is also the police minister. People of Bengal are asking the chief minister as well as the police minister, Mamata Banerjee, why she is not accepting her failure in controlling the situation. And not only that, not only accepting her failure, but saying in open press conference that today is Friday, I cannot do anything about it. They assemble today is something that has shocked the people of the Bengal to the core. On the other hand, situation is not really under control as of yet. Till now, parts of National Highway 12 is blocked. Railway is affected. Parts of Murshidabad, Beldanga is burning till now. Beldanga, especially the most affected area, is till now. Parts of Beldanga are under the control of these goons, these miscreants. On the other hand, about 30 people have been arrested till now. The police is saying that they are doing more to arrest the suspected accused who have caused such disruption of railways and national highway. But people of Bengal are saying this is not enough.
Right. All right, Kishalay, thank you very much for joining us and giving us those very crucial details about what's happening in West Bengal. Viewers, we'll keep a close watch on that story for you. Let's now move on to a big exclusive that we are getting in. AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi has now spoken to Republic on the BMC, the Maharashtra local body poll results. Asaduddin Owaisi, viewers, their party AIMIM had won 125 seats, more than Sharad Pawar and Raj Thackeray. So Owaisi has now essentially, while speaking to Republic, has questioned the Thackerays over their political stance and asked them to introspect about their standing and political relevance in the state of Maharashtra. Listen into that full conversation.
Well, I must thank the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for granting us this huge success. I must also thank my state president Imtiaz Jalil Sahab, Mufti Ismail Sahab, MLA of Malegaon and Waris Pathan, Mr. Yusuf Punjani, and all the important leaders and members who have worked very hard to achieve this success. And it was a very collective effort in which even our party leader in the assembly, Akbaruddin Owaisi, along with 5 MLAs of Telangana, Akhtar Aliman Sahab and Adil Hassan from Bihar, and the Delhi unit. So everyone was there campaigning with our MLCs of Rahmat and Riazul Afandi. So all in all, all of us worked hard, and I'm thankful to the people also for having voted for us. I'm extremely grateful to them for reposing confidence in us, and I hope that inshallah our elected municipal corporators will live up to the expectations of the people, and will work very hard to bring development in their respective wards.
So your party has performed better than MNS, Sharad Pawar's party, and even MNS. So how do you look at it, and how are you looking at their party not being able to perform well in the BMC as well?
I cannot speak for other parties, but I'm thankful to the people of Mumbai, especially the people of Cheetah Camp and the assembly constituency of Shivaji Mankun Govandi, wherein out of 8 wards under the leadership of Atiq, and with special focus attention by our MLA Ahmed Balala, we had 6 wards which included a Dalit municipal corporator as well. So we should have won some more, but we'll ensure that this continues, and we'll improve our party's prospects in other areas as well.
So for the BJP Shiv Sena together who won this BMC, how do you look at this? Because the Thakres had a very strong hold in the BMC for very long years, and how do you see the win of BMC and Sena, and did the Thakres lose their charm, or how do you look at this?
People have given their verdict. We should respect the people's verdict, and I am of the opinion it is wrong to write off anyone. It is the people who decide who should stay relevant, who should not stay relevant. So that is all I can say about it.
All right, viewers, after Cyclone Ditwa shattered road connectivity in Sri Lanka, the Indian Army has stepped in once again, building not just bridges of steel but bridges of hope. A third Bailey Bridge is now operational, reconnecting Kandy and Nuwara area after weeks of isolation. This is part of India's humanitarian diplomacy in action.
Steel, sweat and speed. The Indian Army in action. A 120-foot Bailey Bridge built at KM 15 on Sri Lanka's B492 highway. This connects Kandy to Nuwara area, a route cut off for over a month after Cyclone Ditwa. Army engineers racing against time to restore a lifeline. This is the third bridge built by India in Sri Lanka. Earlier bridges were constructed in Jaffna and Kandy. Roads reopened, movement restored, life resumes. For residents, this means access to hospitals, food and markets. This is part of Operation Sagar Bandhu, India's humanitarian response to the cyclone. Disaster relief in action.
बेली ब्रिज एक मॉडुलर और रीलोकेटेबल टाइप का ब्रिज है, जिसे जरूरत के अनुसार टेम्पररी या परमानेंट तौर पर बनाया जा सकता है। इस साइट पर इस बेली ब्रिज को लंबे समय तक इस्तेमाल करने के हिसाब से कंस्ट्रक्ट किया गया है। इसी वजह से रैपिड हार्डनिंग कंक्रीट से मजबूत बियरिंग पैड्स बनाए गए हैं और हर प्रकार की सेफ्टी का पूरा ध्यान रखा गया है। अगर भविष्य में यदि यहाँ परमानेंट ब्रिज बनाने की जरूरत पड़ती है, तो इस बेली ब्रिज को आसानी से डीलॉन्च कर किसी अन्य स्थान पर रिलोकेट और रिकंस्ट्रक्ट किया जा सकता है।
A bridge that carries more than traffic, it carries trust. Connectivity restored after weeks of isolation. This is regional solidarity on ground. India and Sri Lanka shoulder to shoulder in crisis, a reflection of India's neighborhood first policy and the spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. From disaster to recovery, from disruption to resilience, the Indian Army builds bridges not just of steel but of friendship.
All right, within barely a day of Maharashtra having completed its municipal corporation elections and the BJP Shiv Sena Shinde faction having emerged victorious, Shinde faction, fearing defections to the party's UBT faction, has now resorted to having its winning candidates stay at a hotel in Bandra for over 3 days. Resort politics back in Maharashtra, viewers, take a look at what's happening.
In the aftermath of the BJP's landmark victory in Maharashtra's municipal corporation elections, ally Shinde Sena, taking the combined number of Mahayuti past the majority mark, is set to house all its winning candidates at a hotel in Mumbai. This move warranted by the fear of poaching. This is as the Shinde camp is worried about a possible attempt by the Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena to lure away corporations. Sources further claim that the Shinde camp plans to keep its candidates together at the hotel for the next 3 days, a preemptive move to prevent or deter any defections.
इस वक्त हम मुंबई में हैं और होटल ताज के सामने हैं। आप यहाँ पर सूत्रों के हवाले से जो खबर सामने आ रही है वो महाराष्ट्र की सियासत को और दिलचस्प बना रही है। अभी हाल ही में चुनावी नतीजे फाइनल हुए हैं और उसके बाद कहा जा रहा है कि तमाम जो नगर सेवक हैं उन्हें एकनाथ शिंदे की पार्टी यहाँ लेकर आ सकती है और उसके बाद यहीं से खुल्ला खेल फर्रुखाबादी शुरू होने वाला है।
All of this as the BJP Shiv Sena have consolidated a victory in Maharashtra, ending the 25-year-old reign of Uddhav Sena over the state.
Okay, now we move on to everything else that is making news across the country at this hour. This is Bharat in 1 minute for you. A 19-hour curfew has been imposed in Jalna and Ambad in the light of the Thangar community protest in Maharashtra. A heavy police force has been deployed near the Mukteshwar Dwar area. Forces remain on high alert. The Rajasthan eligibility examination for teachers 2026 began today in Udaipur, where candidates arrived early to the exam centre and faced rigorous security checks. This year, the candidates will be given an additional 10 minutes to cross-check their answers marked in the booklet. A thick layer of smog engulfed the national capital, raising concerns of visibility. This morning, restrictions have been reimposed under GRAP 3 as the air quality deteriorated further in the city. A bull ran amok, which created panic in the crowd gathered to welcome Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin at a Jallikattu event. Sources say that it was actually a Jallikattu bull and no one dared to stop the bull. Police had put up iron barricades to stop it, but it was of no use. Some people reportedly suffered minor injuries due to its aggression. And on to some international news of the hour. Viewers, troops from various European countries, including France, Germany, Norway and Sweden, are arriving in Greenland with the aim to enhance the island's security. This follows discussions between Denmark, Greenland and the United States, which reflected a fundamental disagreement between the Trump administration and European allies. But the big question is the EU ready for war?
France and Europeans must continue to be present wherever their interests are threatened. France has decided to join the exercise that was scheduled and launched by Denmark in a sovereign and independent manner as part of Arctic Endurance.
The European Union's recent military move in Greenland comes after Trump has multiple times threatened to encroach on and take over control of Greenland.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
In total, the EU has deployed around 35 military personnel. Germany contributed 13 personnel, while France sent 15 soldiers.
France has decided to join the exercise that was scheduled and launched by Denmark in a sovereign and independent manner as part of Arctic Endurance. An initial team of French military personnel is already on site and will be reinforced in the coming days with land, air, and sea resources. I thank the Chiefs of Staff of the armies for organizing this quickly in coordination with Danish partners and respond to the very concrete requests that were made. This is the role that France must play, to be available and adapt after assessing the threat and stand with a sovereign nation to protect its territory.
Meanwhile, the White House reportedly downplayed the European Union's military presence in Greenland.
What about when Greenland reportedly sent troops over there? Does that change at all what the president is doing on this? Well, to your first question on Greenland, I don't think troops in Europe impact the president's decision-making process, nor does it impact his goal of the acquisition of Greenland at all.
What is clear is that Greenland can count on us politically. What is clear is that Greenland can count on us politically, economically and financially. And when it comes to its security, the discussions on Arctic security are first and foremost a core issue of NATO. But I also want to emphasize that it is the Arctic and Arctic security, both topics, are core topics for the European Union and matter enormously for us. This is, among others, the reason why we double down on investments and supporting Greenland. You might have seen in the draft budget, we have doubled the amount of financial support to Greenland.
All right, viewers, it's time for us to move into a very short commercial break, but do stay on with us because we are tracking the story from West Bengal very, very closely, where mobs have been given a complete free run under the Mamata Banerjee government in Murshidabad. Stay with us.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा प्योर मसाला
प्लीज स्टॉप झुमका तेरा झुमका
नॉट देयर मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा
तेरा झुमका मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even believe it.
Hi there, welcome back to your favorite deep dive show on stories contemporary and consequential for India. This week, we picked three, two domestic and one from foreign affairs. First up, ever wondered how the markets reacted to Moody's downgrades of India in the early years of liberalization? Those ratings agencies acted as a Damocles sword on our economy and a geopolitical weapon to control India's march to progress, as also that of the developing world. Now, India is hitting back with a rating system of its own. We take a look. Second, has Donald Trump overplayed the tariff card? As he completes 1 year in office as President of the United States during his second term, what lessons we have from the trade data? And finally, a battle of narratives in which we focused on the Nehru in JNU last week takes us to Somnath this episode. How Prime Minister Modi is setting things right, as in from left of center to right of center, as a national mission. Let's get going. More people searched for the Somnath temple on Google this week than all of the last 20 years. That's the kind of impact Prime Minister Narendra Modi's brainwave of marking 1,000 years of the attack on the temple by Mahmud of Ghazni as Swabhiman Parv, festival of self-respect, had on the masses. The historical site, sacred to a great mass of Hindus, saw repeated attacks and reconstructions over the millennia. And the Swabhiman Parv marked the first major recorded attack in 1026 by Mahmud. Now, nobody denies the historicity of those attacks. After Mahmud destroyed the temple built by the Solanki king Mularaj in 1026 Common Era, there was another round of demolition that Somnath faced at the hands of Alaf Khan, a general of Alauddin Khilji in 1299. Subsequently, Muzaffar Khan, a governor of Gujarat, desecrated the same temple in 1394. Sultan Mahmud Begra in 1459. And then, during the Mughal reign of Aurangzeb, Somnath was ordered demolished thrice in 1669, 1702 and 1706, by which time it was almost turned into a mosque. This repeated destruction should ideally be seen as evidence of the kind of repeated reconstruction that was done by the Hindus over all these years and centuries. But that's where history writing comes into play. Last episode, I narrated how JNU became a left bastion by design and not default. India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, willed the intellectual spaces of India, from university campuses to the bureaucracy to the cultural institutions, to be filled with left-of-center ideologues, thus providing an inexhaustible supply of talent for his socialist governance. A product of that was history writing, which doctored a sanitized past of India, where either no brutal attacks on our civilization, the likes of which Somnath and Nalanda faced, happened, or if those attacks had to be acknowledged, the scale of destruction and their motivation in the iconoclasm of medieval Islam had to be muted. Enter Romila Thapar, a professor emeritus of JNU. Yes, the same JNU we discussed. She is variously described as a celebrated historian or doyen of Indian historians, who as recently as 2023 wrote a book on Somnath. This is what she writes. In 1026, Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni raided the Hindu temple of Somnath. The story of the raid has reverberated in Indian history, but largely during the Raj. It was first depicted as a trauma for the Hindu population, not in India, but in the House of Commons in London. This is according to Thapar. The triumphalist accounts of the event in Turco-Persian chronicles became the main source for most of the 18th century historians. It suited everyone and helped the British to divide and rule the subcontinent. That's what Thapar says. For her, the temple was destroyed by Mahmud in search of a medieval Arab goddess, Manat, and not because he saw in Somnath a symbol of Hindu civilizational pride. She further says in the book that the temple was rebuilt by Kumarpal as per some Jain chronicles, not because it was destroyed by Mahmud of Ghazni, but because of the corroding effect of the seas, because of which the temple lay in a dilapidated state. Such chicanery of words, and guess what? The likes of Thapar made a lifetime, complete with Padma Awards, out of this intellectual dishonesty, courtesy Nehru's patronage. Pandit Nehru himself was so discomfited by the reconstruction imagined by Sardar Patel, supervised by Kanhaiya Lal Munshi, and blessed by the then President Rajendra Prasad, that he wrote as many as 17 letters marking his opposition to the Somnath project. In one cribbing apologia to Liaquat Ali Khan, the then Prime Minister of Pakistan, for example, Panditji protested that Pakistani radio was speaking of doors of the Somnath temple being brought to India from Afghanistan, while there was no truth to the story. Guess what? Maybe it did not happen immediately after independence. But Romila Thapar, the same protege of Nehru, narrates in her latest book about the episode of the doors brought back from Ghazni to Agra during the British times in the 2023 book. Yes, such charade we have lived through. Or look at this letter that Nehru wrote to the All India Radio instructing the toning down of the coverage of the consecration event in 1951 that Rajendra Babu attended despite protests by the Prime Minister. Or these two letters written by Nehru to the chief ministers, dated May 2 and August 1, 1951, in which he hems and haws, literally, about the bad image of India the presence of his ministers would create abroad by being present there at the consecration ceremony of Somnath temple. Guess what? Nehru did not want to get the optics wrong then, just as Modi did not want to get the optics wrong now. Only the audiences are different. For Nehru, the audience was the Islamic world in West Asia and the Muslim population back home. For Modi, the audience is Hindu and at home. Irony is that Modi has been bestowed the highest civilian honors by at least a dozen Islamic nations, including Saudi Arabia, the custodian of the two holy mosques of Islam. The fact is, they care two hoots about India's internal politics so long as principles of natural justice and good governance are followed. They would not have cared then also, in Nehru's times. Just that it was only in Nehru's mind that the reconstruction of Somnath conflated with secularism and not reclamation of India's civilizational pride. Modi has corrected that wrong. That takes us to another wrong Prime Minister Modi is correcting, subtly, slowly, but surely. For those who came of age through campuses during India's early liberalization years, the terror of credit rating agencies would be sort of fresh in the minds. They literally determined our collective destinies by throwing up jumbled soup of alphabets. If you were AAA or AAA, you were in the elite company of Western nations. And the global financial establishment looked at you with benign indulgences, like cheap capital. If you were BB or worse, junk, your goose as an economy was cooked, which happened with India a couple of times with ratings downgrades through the 1990s and 2000s. Despite our size and scale, we were helpless. We did not control the process or the product. Like India, rest of the non-Western world, increasingly called Global South these days, was a mute spectator to a few deciding the fate of the many. Not anymore. There's a pushback. This coming week, India is launching its own yardstick to judge the rest of the world. It's going to be called RNI, Responsible Nations Index. Not exactly similar as the financial ratings, but that's the whole debate. Who gets to decide where you stand in the Committee of Nations? Let me first dig a little deeper into the existing system. Going back to the end of the World War II and the setting up of the Bretton Woods institutions, the IMF and the World Bank, the framework cast US hegemony in stone with dollar as the default reserve currency of the world pegged to the gold, and the transatlantic Western Bloc acting as its guarantor. Metrics like the GDP growth, debt to GDP ratio, and inflation became the universal yardsticks of judging a country's credit worthiness. So far, so good. By the 1970s, 3 private agencies monopolized the game. Recall how the mood of the Moody's, standards of S&P or Standards & Poor, or fiddling by Fitch, all 3 US-based, in the case of Fitch, French-owned, would determine the cost of borrowing for nations, including India. The big 3 came to dominate almost 100% of the world ratings market by the turn of the century. There's a template of cognitive bias. The big 3, in tandem with the IMF and the World Bank, between them enforce Western ideals. Cut welfare, privatize, open markets, or face higher costs. This essentially became a system like a straw-sucking savings from the Global South, funding consumption in the Global North, even as the Global South borrowed back at premiums dictated by the same biased ratings. It's a rigged game where ratings act as enforcers, limiting sovereignty and perpetuating inequality. Investors treated ratings as gospel. Pension funds and banks face mandates to favor high-rated bonds. Post-Cold War, that is in the 1990s and thereafter, ratings became a geopolitical weapon to align developing states with Western agendas. Argentina's 2001 default followed repeated downgrades amid IMF austerity clashes, crippling recovery. Greece's 2010 debt crisis saw agencies amplify Eurozone woes, pressuring Athens towards privatization. During the 2016 Brexit, while the S&P did downgrade the UK mildly, it hammered Brazil over impeachment, essentially a political process. Venezuela, Russia, Iran, the list is endless. Over time, the biases stood exposed. Emerging markets got harsher treatment than advanced economies, even when fundamentals were similar. It's not just numbers, it's control. During the turn of the century, Asian financial crisis, for example, the S&P downgraded countries en masse, triggering capital flight and deepening the mess. Similarly, during the COVID-19 pandemic years, 95% of the downgrades hit only developing countries, despite milder economic hits than in the West. Why? Geopolitical proximity, cultural biases, and information asymmetries favor the global north. Now the world's reacting, and BRICS is a leading example or leading the charge, calling out the ratings terrorism of the West during the 2024 Kazan summit. Their new development bank, launched in 2014, offers loans without the IMF's harsh conditions, funding infrastructure in local currencies to dodge dollar traps. Guess what? Such is the terror of the existing arrangement, even now that the NDB has to comply with sanctions on Russia. But that only proves the point. No more passive acceptance of Western models. Russia, post-2014 sanctions, created the National Rating Agency. China launched Dagong, rating itself AAA. That's where RNI, Responsible Nations Index of India, comes into the picture. a brainchild of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as part of his larger push for Atmanirbharta and shedding of colonial mindset. Why let a declining West dictate the agenda? Look at the matrix. The RNI would be structured around three core dimensions. One, internal responsibility focusing on dignity, justice, and the well-being of citizens. Two, environmental responsibility covering stewardship of natural resources and climate action. And three, external responsibility measuring a country's contribution to peace, cooperation, and global stability. Does not sound like GDP, debt, etc., but that's the whole point. How do you judge India's Operation Maitri, for example, when we supplied COVID vaccines to the rest of the world? That's where responsibility as a member of the Committee of Nations comes in. Should it not get reflected in ratings? Fitch and Moody's won't. So let's do it on our own, our way. The index, or the RNI, would cover 154 countries and is built on transparent, globally sourced data to ensure credibility and comparability. JNU and IIM Mumbai have provided institutional support. The RNI would be India's first globally anchored framework to evaluate countries on responsible governance, social well-being, environmental stewardship, and global responsibility. The initiative aims to encourage global dialogue on ethics, sustainability, food security, and value-based leadership, contributing to a more balanced understanding of national performance on the global stage. The geopolitics of rating nations is all set to change. Wait till Monday. Moving on to the last segment.
This bill would allow...
And India also is bullish.
Yes, sir. So you put a 25% tariff on India for buying Russian oil. I was at the Indian ambassador's house about a month ago, and all he wanted to talk about is how they're buying less Russian oil. Would you tell the president to relieve the tariff? I really do believe that what he did with India is the chief reason India is now buying substantially less Russian oil. So I hope we pass this bill soon. And after
They wanted to make me happy, basically. He wanted to, Modi's a very good man.
Yes.
He's a good guy. He knew I was not happy. And it was important to make me happy. They do trade. And we can raise tariffs on them very quickly, and it would be very bad for them.
It's been a year of tariffs, but tariffs as Donald Trump completes one as President of the United States next week in his second term. But reports and numbers on the trade front are not what the Trumpist stars or the mega supporters of Trump would have loved to hear. India's merchandise exports to the US during April-December period saw an almost 10% jump, rising to approximately US $66 billion, compared to US $60 billion in the previous year. In the month of November itself, the year-on-year increase was a whopping 22% at US $7 billion. Even with punitive tariffs in place, industries like electronics, which are up 16%, marine products up 11%, pharmaceuticals up 5%, and engineering goods stayed strong. Overall exports also showed a rising clip of 5%. In December of last year, that is 2025, India's overall merchandise exports reached US $38.5 billion, a 2 percentage point increase year on year. And the 9-month cumulative exports edged 3% to US $330 billion. India's export surge defies the odds. Weren't we supposed to fold under Trump's reciprocal hammer? Instead, Indian shipments of pharma, electronics, textiles, and rice to the US grew steadily, even as duties bit into margins, of course. Why? Diversification and niches. Pharma dodged full hits due to essential status. Electronics filled the void left by China, and rice carved a premium lane despite existing tariffs. There's more to the story. While India's US export dependence dipped slightly from 23 to 20%, which means we diversified, absolute volumes rose as American buyers sought alternatives to pricier Chinese products. And even as our manufacturing edge shone through, India upped its game. Last year saw at least half a dozen FTAs getting signed from New Zealand to UAE to the UK and Oman. plus the European Economic Community. Trade deals with Canada and the EU are close. All this offsets the US friction. This resilience suggests a few takeaways. Indian exporters shifted strategies, seeking tariff exemptions, pivoting to less targeted sectors, and reinforcing global supply chain linkages. Indian smartphones found new markets like Slovakia, Israel, Latvia, Vietnam, South Korea, among others. So while tariffs might have slowed growth in targeted categories, they did not derail India's broader export strength to the US, arguably one of the signature goals of Trump's strategy. The aim was ambitious so far as Trump is concerned: shield the US manufacturing, rebalance trade deficits, and coax partners into fairer deals. But the India story proves otherwise. And that's still not the complete picture. Look at China, and you realize the gaping hole in Trump's strategy. Despite facing intense US tariffs of up to 47.5%, China recorded a jaw-dropping global trade surplus of US $1.2 trillion. That colossal surplus reflected not just resilience, but strategic adaptation. Chinese manufacturers sidestepped US tariffs by boosting exports to ASEAN, up 13%, Africa up 26%, Latin America up 7%, and the EU up 8%. Domestic policies and a weakened yuan made Chinese goods cheaper abroad. Taken together, these trends paint a picture of limited leverage for Team Trump. India weathered the storm by channeling growth through resilient sectors and supply chain flexibility. China simply rerouted its trade and expanded it elsewhere. There's another interesting takeaway. The Kazan reset with China that India had is paying off. Our merchandise exports to China in the last 6 months of 2025 versus 2024 grew 37%, $14 plus billion versus $10.42 billion. China recorded notably higher Indian imports, with electronics and engineering goods seeing sizable increases. So Washington needs to take note. I spoke to a Commerce Ministry official part of the trade negotiations some time back, and if I rephrase his anecdotal account of the difference between American and European strategies when it comes to negotiating the trade deal, it comes down to one word: flexibility. Like the EU officials were comfortable to take agriculture off the table so that talks could proceed. Unlike in the case of the United States, where stalemate is centered around the GM crops and the dairy sector. Also, and that's a big factor, the official told me that he sensed that the American team came with a strong brief but limited freedom in terms of give and take. Obviously, because everything has to go right up to the top, to the White House. Why have tariffs seemingly failed? For one, substitution effect. Tariffs create vacuums that others fill. Basic economics Trump overlooked. As Chinese goods got pricier, India ramped up low-cost alternatives like generic drugs, replacing pricier Chinese APIs, or textiles dodging full steel aluminum add-ons. US importers did not reshore, they swapped suppliers, keeping trade volumes high. Data shows only 17 of the 57 targeted nations cut deals with Trump, leaving heavyweights like India and China defiant. Meanwhile, US manufacturing jobs flatlined. Tariffs raised input costs for autos and tech, killing almost 100,000 positions as per some estimates, as firms passed hikes to buyers amid 2025's inflation bout. US consumers paid anything between $200 to $500 more yearly per household, as per some think tanks. Long-term US GDP looks like taking a 0.5 percentage point or even 1 percentage point hit from disrupted supply chains. The Venezuela, Greenland, Iran headlines could be planned distractions for these reasons ahead of the midterm elections. And then there are the geopolitical costs. India's is the most classic case of standing up to Trump's tariff bullying. Well, not just tariffs, but the Pakistan pivot also, that has put the larger India-United States relationship into a downward spiral that would not be easy for just Sergio Gore, the new US ambassador to India, to retrieve. Prime Minister Modi has earned plaudits from around the world to have managed the friction with Trump so well, even as leaders around the world, particularly in Europe, seem to be capitulating. This is an evolving story, and we shall keep coming back to it. Thanks for watching.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen.
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप। थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरी राजा
का राजा और प्योर मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it. And we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it.
U.S. has proven its military capacity in Operation Midnight Hammer, where the United States military bombed Iran's nuclear facilities. U.S.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very good evening, viewers. You're watching the Saturday edition of 6 Stories at 6 with me, Rakshita Mishra. Viewers, we'll start with the shameful comment that has been made by the Congress MLA from Madhya Pradesh over rapes. He has justified rape, what he calls a rape theory. It's Phul Singh Baraiya justifying rapes and uses casteist slurs as well. And then a picture of him with Rahul Gandhi also sparks more outrage. Story number 2 on 6 Stories at 6. Hypocrisy taking over in Beldanga, West Bengal, an area that is very, very close to the Siliguri corridor. The Chicken's Neck highway leading up to the Siliguri corridor has been blocked today by the mob. And what we saw was the administration being a mute spectator. And on a day when the Prime Minister was visiting the state, violence breaks out in Beldanga. Meanwhile, the BJP versus Mamata over infiltration, over SIR is only blowing up. And after the saffron sweep in BMC elections, the threat of resort politics is yet again looming in Maharashtra. We'll tell you about that. Also, on the show, we get you what Karnataka's LOP has written to the Railway Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav, what he calls is an illegal migration route, and why Bengaluru is becoming the illegal migrant hub. And last but not least is the controversy surrounding A.R. Rahman's claims with his comments on Bollywood communal bias, what he calls is a power shift that has led to him getting less work in the industry. Let's start with the shocker coming in from Congress MLA. Sitting Congress MLA, Phul Singh Baraiya from Madhya Pradesh has triggered a storm after making horrific remarks, shameful remarks that clearly justifies the rape, demeans women from SC, ST, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and OBC communities, while misusing religion and scriptures as well. He cites some scriptures and he creates a rape theory. Very shameful comment, and it has been slammed by different corners. The BJP has also taken aim, and now what has happened is that Rahul Gandhi, who happens to be in Madhya Pradesh, happened to be in Indore today as well. His photograph, him posing with Phul Singh, has only caused more outrage. By the way, there has been no action, not even a word of condemnation from the Congress party. Here's more.
Phul Singh Baraiya, Congress MLA from Madhya Pradesh, a lawmaker, making statements that appear to justify rape. He claims the scriptures say if one cannot go on pilgrimage, then intercourse with an SC woman gives the same merit. He goes further, saying that there are no beautiful girls among SC, ST and OBC communities. And then comes the most disturbing claim, that seeing a beautiful girl can distract a man and rape can occur. A statement that shifts blame from the criminal to the victim. A video of his speech quickly went viral on social media, spreading shock and disbelief across the country, across political lines. Condemnation is pouring in. The BJP says this is not an isolated remark but a dangerous mindset.
Says that there are no beautiful women in SC, ST, OBC community and hence some other women are away. This kind of disgusting mindset is being shown towards Hindu Astha also and also towards women and their issues related to safety.
Religious leaders are also outraged over misuse of sacred texts.
मैं पूरे संपूर्ण समाज से यह निवेदन करूंगा और खास तौर पे कांग्रेस पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेताओं से कि ऐसे नीच बुद्धि, ऐसे घृणित विचारधारा की व्यक्ति को तत्काल पार्टी से निकालकर बाहर करो.
The row has intensified because Baraya was recently seen sharing the stage with Rahul Gandhi during his visit to Indore. As Gandhi remains silent on the controversy, the BJP accuses the Congress leadership of protecting leaders who hold dehumanizing and misogynistic views against women and backward classes. Not just apology, the demand is for accountability. Opposition parties say such remarks insult women, demean SC and ST communities, and weaken the fight against sexual violence. Statements that many call misogynistic, casteist, and dangerous. Meanwhile, watch how, when confronted, the Congress MLA brazenly stands by his statement.
कांग्रेस विधायक फूल सिंह बरैया मेरे साथ हैं, उनसे बातचीत में करूंगा. सर, आपका स्टेटमेंट हमने सुना जिसमें आप कह रहे हैं कि खूबसूरत लड़की देखकर मन विचलित होता है, रेप हो सकता है. इस पे झूठ 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 ये आपने नहीं बोला?
नहीं,
आपका स्टेटमेंट है, वीडियो है.
मैंने बोला तो कर सेंस.
Right, we're cutting across to Prime Minister Modi, who is right now in Assam, in Guwahati, after his visit to Bengal and a rally in Malda. Now we see the Prime Minister arriving in Guwahati, and this is the latest visual. PM on a visit to Guwahati. Back-to-back visits for the Prime Minister, and just this evening he's going to in fact witness 10,000 Bodo dancers perform the Bagurumba during Assam visit. We'll flag off first Vande Bharat sleeper train that of course happened in Bengal, and he is going to perform Bhumi Pujan for Kaziranga elevated corridor in Assam as well. And this is pole-bound Bengal and Assam rally, big infra push by the BJP. It's a two-day program for the Prime Minister in Assam. It's a two-day trip, Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow also he'll be participating in major cultural and developmental programs. The Prime Minister is going to attend today, in a short while from now, the grand traditional Bodo cultural program at Sarusajai Stadium in Guwahati. And the highlight of the evening will be Bagurumba Doho 2026. That's a historical event, the historic cultural event celebrating the rich heritage of the Bodo community. And during this event, more than 10,000 artists from the Bodo community will be performing the dance in a single synchronized presentation. And in fact, these are artists representing 81 assembly constituencies from 23 districts of Assam who are going to take part, making it one of the largest cultural performances of its kind in Assam. And tomorrow he will be performing the Bhumi Pujan for the Kaziranga Elevated Corridor project. It's an ambitious infrastructure initiative worth over 6,950 crore rupees. 86-kilometer long project, officially the four-laning of the Kaliabor-Numaligarh section of NH 715. Aniruddha, my colleague, joining us live on the broadcast from Guwahati. Aniruddha, tell us more about the Prime Minister's schedule and the significance of this cultural program that's going to happen in a short while from now. The Prime Minister is going to attend. Aniruddha.
Yes, Rakshita, can you kindly repeat the question?
बहुत ही सारी लड़की शोभा बढ़ाएंगे.
All right, we'll just try and reconnect. Aniruddha, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just tell us about the Prime Minister's visit, two-day visit, the details and the significance of it.
Yes, the Prime Minister's visit to Assam, this two-day program, is very significant, given the fact that the Prime Minister will be also laying the foundation stone for the 34-kilometer-long elevated corridor that will be bypassing the Kaziranga National Park. This project in itself speaks in volume about, the government's commitment towards wildlife and nature, and also while ensuring development and infrastructure tools in the northeastern region. The Kaziranga National Park is the largest home to the famed one-hand rhino, and the elevated corridor will ensure from now on that there is no disturbance to the traffic movement or the movement of animals within the park, as most of the transports will be bypassing through the elevated corridor. But before, laying the foundation stone for the elevated corridor, which is scheduled tomorrow, today the Prime Minister will witnessing a historic performance of Bagurumba Doho 2026, wherein 9,600 dancers and artisans from the Boro community will be performing the traditional dance form of the community in front of the Prime Minister at the Sarusazai Sports Complex, Bukeshwar Borua Sports Complex in Sarusazai, Guwahati. And the Prime Minister is expected to arrive at the venue in a short while from now. We are being told that he has already entered the sports complex and he is on his way to the main venue where this historic performance will be taking place. Remember, earlier also on two accounts, showcase of Assam's rich culture and vibrancy was witnessed by the Prime Minister himself when more than 20,000 dancers, Bihu dancers performed the Bihu dance earlier. And on the second occasion when Jumur Binondini was organized, and the Prime Minister also witnessed that spectacular performance last year. And this time, as assured by the state government, they are organizing this Bagurumba Doho 2026 in front of the Prime Minister, in presence of Prime Minister, where 9,600 artisans, dancers, singers, drummers will be performing to the rhythm of Bagurumba, which in itself speaks not only about the rich, colorful cultural fabric of the state of Assam, but also showcases the tribal lifestyle, the tribal region, enriched by its colorful display of various traditional dance forms. Rakshita.
Right. Absolutely. And in fact, infiltration is going to be the hot topic when it comes to both these states. It's one of the biggest issues that the BJP is, of course, pushing against from Bengal to Assam. Aniruddha, infiltration has been on top of agenda as far as the BJP is concerned, and we expect that in the coming days, the campaign for SIR and against infiltration to flush out the infiltrators will be only picking up pace, and the campaign is also going to be designed that way in those districts.
The Prime Minister who had visited the Northeast region for more than 85 counts so far. And with each and every visit, he has rightly placed Northeast Assam, be it any other state of the Northeast, say Arunachal Pradesh, for say Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland. Whenever the Prime Minister visits the northeastern region, there have been tremendous push as far as infrastructure development is concerned, as far as connectivity is concerned, and this visits during the elections are also can be seen as a massive, infrastructure push. But as far as other issues are concerning, last time also when, Prime Minister was here, he spoke in detail in that about the issue of immigration and infiltration, which is still slurs over the people of Assam, and which has also pushed the Assamese community into a danger zone as far as the demographic pattern shift in the state of Assam is concerned. And during the last visit of Indian Home Minister also, Amit Shah, when he was here, Indian Home Minister has also stressed upon how infiltration and demographic threat has, pushed the Assamese community and its culture and heritage into brink of extinction in several districts of Assam. There are at least 12 districts in the state of Assam which have been completely demographically in a different way from what it was in 1951. And this polarization of the demographic shift in the state of Assam is going to be definitely one of the most talked about topic or the most sort of issue after these elections as we approach closer and closer.
Right. Aniruddha, tracking those updates from Prime Minister's two-day visit to Guwahati, to Assam, and there you have the visuals from Guwahati as he's just arrived, and his convoy now being welcomed by the supporters, the people of Assam, the supporters of BJP, the supporters of Prime Minister Modi. As you can see, he's being flanked on both sides of the road by the supporters amidst heavy security cover as he's going to attend the cultural program in Guwahati. And tomorrow also, mega infrastructure push by the Prime Minister in Guwahati, in Assam. So two-day visit after his visit to the homebound, I beg your pardon, the pole-bound state of West Bengal and Assam. Aniruddha, also tell us about the big infrastructure push. Tomorrow, it's going to be the launch of the. Of course, first he will perform the Bhumi Pujan for the corridor project, and this, of course, is very important as far as connectivity is concerned, and also the, of course, the Vande Bharat train that is important as far as Bengal and Assam and the connectivity is concerned.
Yes, today the first ever sleeper class Vande Bharat Express was flagged off by the Prime Minister which will run between Kolkata and Guwahati. And tomorrow, another set of trains are to be flagged off by the Prime Minister from Koliabor, where he will be flagging off the Amrit Bharat Express from Dibrugarh and another from Guwahati to Rohtak, and this too will definitely give a major boost to the railway connectivity in the northeastern region. Apart from the railway connectivity that we have been talking about, there has been a massive push as far as highway and road infrastructure in the northeastern region is concerned. And as I was telling you earlier, Rakshita, telling our viewers earlier, that this project, which the Prime Minister will be attending the Bhumi Pujan of tomorrow and laying the foundation in stone for the 34 kilometers long, the Kaziranga elevated corridor. The Kaziranga elevated corridor is the symbol of coexistence with nature and at the same time ensuring world-class infrastructure push. This is what it can be termed as. This project, which will be built at a cost of 6,950 crore rupees, which has already been sanctioned by the center. This elevated corridor will not only bypass the animal corridors in the Kaziranga National Park, but also at the same time, shorten the direct distance between cities like Bokahat, Jorhat to Guwahati, cities like Dibrugarh to Guwahati, the distance that it takes will be shortened by at least an hour. So yes, that is going to be a massive infrastructure push as far as the southern bank of Brahmaputra is concerned. This will be a trendsetter, or you can say that this is going to be a game changer as far as connectivity is concerned, because now if a tourist needs approximately 4 to 5 hours to reach Kaziranga, then with this elevated corridor in place, they can shorten this distance by from 4 hours to at least 3 hours. So apart from that, the movement, the free movement of the elephants and other animals, which there are multiple animal corridors. When you cross the Kaziranga National Park, there are at least more than 30 busy animal corridors through which animals often, crosses the highway, and that has resulted in many numbers of fatalities on the animal side as far as during peak flooding season in the national park is concerned. So yes, this elevated corridor, which is expected to be completed within a very short span of time, they are expecting to complete this project by the next 3 years. So yes, this is going to be another major infrastructure push that the state of Assam is going to witness with the Prime Minister's visit tomorrow and the laying of the foundation stone. And in the days to come, before announcement or declaration of the elections here in Assam, it is being expected that some other key projects will also be started in this region.
Right. Assam, has emerged as, central in party's poll strategy for, amongst the states that are, of course, coming in, will be going into elections, Bengal being one. But Assam, you see, Aniruddha, Prime Minister, this is Prime Minister's second visit to the state in around 3 weeks. And, back-to-back visits that only show that it is a central part of BJP's poll strategy now. And it, of course, remains the largest state in the northeast. And a strong performance, of course, is crucial for the BJP to retain the dominance in the region. And also, of course, the importance of Assam is that what happens in Assam is also something that is important to take control of what is happening along the border and along the neighboring states as well, given how India is witnessing unrest in the neighborhood.
Rakshita, absolutely. It is very crucial to keep the ethnic fabric in Assam intact as the challenges being posed from the neighboring countries are concerned. And in that regard, if we look at how the BJP at center and the state has brought down militancy, particularly in Assam itself, with reduction of tribal insurgency. There was a time, I still remember, when there were at least 30 to 40 militant outfits in Assam. But now we have zero number of tribal insurgent group as far as the entire state of Assam is concerned, and which the Ulfa independent, which is the only now surviving extremist group in the state of Assam. Assam has witnessed a complete transformation from gun violence to a peaceful coexistence among each other. And the sense of belongingness, there was a lack of bridge with the mainland, as it was an idea was conceived at the time that Assam is far away from the mainland. But with the BJP at both at the center and the state, there has been an attempt to ensure that there is no such thing like mainland, and Assam and other northeastern states are very much an integral part of the country. So this message has been sent loud and clear all across the region, and it is not only limited to the borders internal borders, but also to the international borders, and also even be it China, be it Bangladesh, be it Myanmar. The message that India has sent is very loud and clear that Assam and the Northeast is very much an integral part of India, and both the center Prime Minister also has earlier repeatedly said how AF stands for Assam, and that commitment has been witnessed in the delivery that has been made. And here you can see the Prime Minister has arrived at the venue. The Prime Minister.
Right, many thanks, Anuradha. We'll just be right back after this short break, and we continue to track the Prime Minister's visit to Assam, day one of his Assam visit.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
At Amity University's 2-week summer school, students of classes 9 to 12 get to explore future undergraduate programs as per their interest from over 30 disciplines. Students attend lectures by Amity University faculty, gain experience at over 400 labs and learning studios, and attend personality enhancement workshops. Register now at amity.edu/summer school.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल और जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even believe it.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे,
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation.
The Prime Minister's event and the cultural performance that is.
दोरोङारि मोसानाया गोदोनिफ्राय सोलिबोबाय थानाय मोनसे जर'खा हारिनि हारिमुआरि जर'खा महर बियो सुबुंफोरखौ बै हारिनि हारिमु सिनायथि जारिमिन आरो उनमोनथाइजों फोनांजाबनायनि लामाखौ बेखेवनानै होयो दोरोङारि मोसानाया मोनसे हारिनि सोदोमस्रि आरो जारिमिनखौ बदलानानै होयो जों दिनै जोंनि हारिमु मोनसेम हामलायथि बावहरगोन जों आखाइ खबनानै बिथांखौ बरायगोन आरो साबायखर बावगोन हिमन्त बिश्व शर्मा बिथाङाबो बे हाबाफारियाव
स्रोत है असम में उनका सतत आगमन उनके प्रेम और
बर'फोरनि सोदोमस्रिनि मोनसे बिथा मोनसे दोरोङारि मोसानाया गोदोनिफ्राय सोलिबोबाय थानाय मोनसे जर'खा हारिनि हारिमुआरि जर'खा महर बियो सुबुंफोरखौ बै हारिनि हारिमु सिनायथि जारिमिन आरो उनमोनथाइजों फोनांजाबनायनि लामाखौ बेखेवनानै होयो दोरोङारि मोसानाया मोनसे हारिनि सोदोमस्रि आरो जारिमिनखौ बदलानानै होयो जों दिनै जोंनि हारिमु मोनसेम हामलायथि बावहरगोन जों आथांखौ बरायगोन आरो साबायखर बावगोन हिमन्त बिश्व शर्मा बिथाङाबो बे हाबाफारियाव
स्रोत है असम में उनका सतत आगमन प्रतिच्छवि पर श्रद्धा सुमन अर्पित करेंगे
Is joining us on the phone. Anuruddha, well, this is a grand event, isn't it, at the Sarusajai Stadium, traditional Bodo cultural program, and celebrating the heritage of the Bodo community. Tell us more about the importance of the community, as more than 10,000 artists from this community are going to perform in a single synchronized presentation.
Yes, this is the display of Assam's ethnic diversity and also the rich cultural heritage of the Bodo community, which can be described as one of the most colorful community the region is concerned. And given the fact that when it comes to a transition, the transition that we are speaking of today, if we talk about the transition from terrorism, there was a time when Assam as a whole was infested by terrorism. And today, what we witness here in Assam is an absolutely peaceful state. This transition has been possible for immense contribution of the Boro community. You know, all the militant groups of the Boro community, which were leading one of the biggest militant outfits as far as this region is concerned, when they came into an agreement with the government of India, and thereon there have been peaceful transition that the state of Assam has been witnessing, and this peaceful transition is reflected in the of this grand Bagurumba dance form today in Guwahati. The Boro community constitutes one of the largest tribal groups and Aborigine group as far as the northeastern region is concerned. They are among the first of the Indo-Tibetan tribes to have made settlements thousands and thousands of years before in this region. They predate even the Bronze Age in some accounts. And that is why in holding all the tribal communities and the ethnic groups in the region in synchronization, the Boro community plays a very vital role. And the reaching out of the Prime Minister and this colorful grand display in itself is a testimony to various towns, which also talks in itself, because you know in the last 3 to 4 years, particularly in the period after 2016 or 2014, from that period itself.
There's a traditional instrument that is being played. If you could just tell us about that, Anuruddha. Prime Minister on stage playing that instrument.
मानगोनां उपेन्द्रनाथ ब्रह्म आरो बिथांनि सावगारिखौ जोंनि बिटिसिनि मानगोनां गाहाय खुंगिरि मुस्रि हाग्रामा महिलारिया गथायनानै होगोन। जोबोद जोबोद साबायखर थाबाय।
ধন্যবাদ। এতিয়া মই অসম চৰকাৰৰ সাংস্কৃতিক পৰিক্ৰমা আদি বিভাগ
He was presented with that and a portrait. If you could just tell us more details about it. Anirudh. Okay, there seems to be a problem with Aniruddha's audio there. Okay, we'll just reconnect with Anuruddha. And in the meantime, of course, the stage is set for this mega performance. The Prime Minister has a big cultural push in Assam. Bagurumba, one of the most prominent folk dances of the Bodo community, deeply inspired by nature, blooming flowers, reflecting harmony between human life and the natural world, traditionally performed by young Bodo women, with men accompanying them as musicians. The dance features gentle flowing movements, and that's what we are going to see right now. Deep cultural significance, and of course the significance of the Bodo community as well, as my colleague Aniruddha was just highlighting. And this is day one of Prime Minister's visit, and he will be inaugurating projects worth 6,000 crore rupees tomorrow in Assam. So it's a two-day trip visit to Assam, and here you have over 10,000 Bodo artists all set to perform the Bagurumba together in presence of the Prime Minister in Guwahati. He is accompanied by the Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma. Prime Minister will, of course, also lead the mega infra push tomorrow in the state. So dancers are all set in the traditional attire as they had been rehearsing at the Sarusajai Stadium for a Guinness World Record attempt for the largest ever performance of the Bodo community's butterfly dance. And remember, there has been a similar world record attempt that was successful also by the Bihu dancers by Assam. And I'm told that Anuruddha is back with us. Anuruddha, it's an attempt at history as well, attempt for a Guinness World Record as well at the Sarusajai Stadium for the largest ever performance of the Bodo community's butterfly dance.
Yes, you have said it rightly, Rakshita. As we remember 2 years back, it was Guinness World Record was made here.
Yeah. I think we have lost that connection because of network issues in Guwahati, given the security situation. Yeah, go ahead.
And last year we witnessed Dumur Binandini were on celebrating 200 years of tea in Assam and India. We witnessed the spectacular performance by the tea community here at Haruhozai. And today we are witnessing the butterfly dance or the Bagurumba of the Bodo community here, one of the largest tribal groups of the northeastern region, as more than 9,600 performers are all set to dance and to the beats of the drum, and there are at least 1,000 drummers who will be beating the rhythm as the over 8,000 dancers join, and they dance in rhythm in a synchronizing act that can be only described in best when witnessed. And this spectacular display of the culture and the rich heritage of the Bodo community in itself speaks a lot in volume, given the fact that they are one of the largest tribal groups as far as the northeastern region is concerned, and not only one of the largest, but also, in fact, the oldest. They are among the first settlers in this region. So it is the Bodo culture, the Bodo heritage have its touch on the culture and heritage aspect of each and every community in Assam. And it is through these cultures and vast ethnic divide that exists, which actually unites Assam and Northeast. And it makes in itself mini India, which it's a varied form of culture and rich heritage. What we are witnessing today is a testimony to the peace and development in the northeastern region, which has been achieved, and the mega push given by the center as far as bridging the gap between the northeast and the so-called mainland is concerned. Because at that point there was a point in time when most of the people in different parts of the country used to refer to the northeast in a demeaning way, or with a sense of not belonging to one another. But that bridge has been gapped today, and that bridge, that gap has been bridged today. And today, what we have been witnessing is a massive transformation from a hostile past to a peaceful coexistence, and that has been achieved with the massive push in terms of development in infrastructure section or technological aspects as well. Because we know today when we speak about Assam, if we see the industrial map of India also, the point also we can see the existence of Assam in the form of semiconductor industry, one of the trend-setting industry of our ages, which is coming up in Assam. And the people, the way people have been coming out to attend various mega events in the region, like this one, what we are witnessing today, and a stadium fully packed. All the stands in the stadium is fully packed, and there are over 10,000, at least 10,000 performers sitting in front of you as we speak today from this stadium. So this speaks in itself about the massive transformation that the state of Assam has witnessed in the last 1 decade, and how the center had committed itself to, setting the record straight that the Northeast is not just a part of India, but it is in fact an integral.
उपस्थित होकर हमारा गौरव बढ़ाने के लिए मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी के प्रति आभार प्रकट करता हूं। आपकी उपस्थिति वो मजबूत संदेश देती है कि बोडो जनजाति और पूर्वोत्तर भारत की सांस्कृतिक विकास पर भारत की राष्ट्रीय पहचान का अभियान अंग है। वो हमारी लोगों की विशेष रूप से युवा पीढ़ी को अपनी पहचान और अपनी जोरों पर गर्व करने की प्रेरणा देती है। तो आज आमी सचाकै माने मुखेदी কৈ পেলাই আমি শেষ কৰিব নোৱাৰে। আজি ভাৰত চৰকাৰ তথা অসম চৰকাৰৰ যেটো চেষ্টা বা আমাৰ বড়ো জনগোষ্ঠীক যেনেকা বিশ্ব দৰবাৰলৈকে আমাৰ যেটো বড়ো কালচাৰেল ডেন্স
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डवेयर मसाला।
At Amity University's 2-week summer school, students of classes 9 to 12 get to explore future undergraduate programs as per their interest from over 30 disciplines. Students attend lectures by Amity University faculty, gain experience at over 400 labs and learning studios, and attend personality enhancement workshops. Register now at amity.edu/summer school.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
MDH।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल्दी और जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
राजा और मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before.
Sri Satish Chandra Bosumotari, Ostad Kamini Kumar Narjari, আৰু মদাৰাম ব্ৰহ্মৰ নিৰ্দেশনাত নতুন দিল্লীত প্ৰথম বাগৰুম্বা নৃত্যৰ ঐতিহাসিক পৰিৱেশন হৈছিল আৰু তাৰ পিছতেই বাগৰুম্বাই ৰাষ্ট্ৰীয় স্বীকৃতি লাভ কৰিবলৈ সক্ষম হৈছিল। আজিৰ এই অনুষ্ঠানত মই এই মহান ব্যক্তিসকললৈ মই মোৰ শ্ৰদ্ধা নিবেদন কৰিছোঁ। শ্ৰদ্ধাৰ ৰাইজ, বড়ো জনগোষ্ঠী, সমগ্ৰ ভাৰতবাসী আৰু অসমৰ ৰাইজৰ বাবে গৌৰৱৰ প্ৰতীক, আমাৰ স্বাভিমানৰ প্ৰতীক। বাগৰুম্বা নৃত্যই অসমৰ এই মহান জনজাতিৰ, বড়ো জনজাতিৰ কৃষ্টি আৰু সংস্কৃতিক প্ৰতিনিধিত্ব কৰে। আজি আমি অত্যন্ত গৌৰৱ অনুভৱ কৰিছোঁ যে আজি অসম চৰকাৰৰ উদ্যোগত আৰু আমাৰ বড়োলেণ্ড টেৰিটৰিয়েল কাউন্সিলৰ সহযোগত বড়ো জনগোষ্ঠীৰ জাতীয় সংগঠনসমূহৰ সহযোগত 10,000তকৈ অধিক যুৱক যুৱতীয়ে সৰু সজাইত বাগৰুম্বা নৃত্যৰ পৰিৱেশন কৰিব। মোৰ যিমান দূৰ মনত আছে, বড়ো জনগোষ্ঠীসকলে ইমান ডাঙৰ সাংস্কৃতিক পৰিৱেশন বোধ হয় গুৱাহাটীত এয়া প্ৰথমবাৰৰ বাবে পৰিৱেশন কৰিবলৈ আহিছে, যি আমাৰ ইতিহাসৰ বাবে এক মাইলৰ খুঁটা হৈ ৰ'ব। 2023 চনৰ 14 এপ্ৰিলত 10 সহস্ৰাধিক বিহু আৰু বিহুৱতীৰে আমি আমাৰ বহাগ বিহুক বিশ্বৰ দৰবাৰলৈ লৈ গৈছিলোঁ। যোৱা বছৰ ফেব্ৰুৱাৰী মাহত ঝুমুৰ বিনন্দনীৰ জৰিয়তে আমি ঝুমুৰক আন্তঃৰাষ্ট্ৰীয় মঞ্চলৈ লৈ গৈছিলোঁ। আজি আমাৰ বাবে গৌৰৱৰ দিন যে আজি আমি বড়ো জনগোষ্ঠীৰ প্ৰতিবিম্ব, কৃষ্টি সংস্কৃতিক প্ৰতিনিধিত্ব কৰা বাগৰুম্বাক খন্তেক সময় পিছতেই বিশ্ব দৰবাৰলৈ লৈ যাম। শ্ৰদ্ধা ৰাইজ, প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়াৰ উপস্থিতিয়ে আজি আমাক এক অনন্য গৌৰৱ প্ৰদান কৰিছে। যোৱা বছৰ প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়াৰ নেতৃত্বত নতুন দিল্লীত বডুফা উপেন্দ্ৰনাথ ব্ৰহ্মৰ প্ৰতিমূৰ্তি স্থাপন কৰা হৈছিলে। নতুন দিল্লীৰ এটা পথ বডুফা উপেন্দ্ৰনাথ ব্ৰহ্মৰ নামত উৎসৰ্গিত কৰা হৈছিলে। হাগ্ৰামা মহিলাৰী ডাঙৰীয়াই উল্লেখ কৰিছে কি ধৰণে 2003 চনত BTCলৈ স্থায়ী শান্তি উভতাই আনিবলৈ প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী বাজপেয়ী ডাঙৰীয়া আৰু 2020 চনত প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়াৰ নেতৃত্বত শান্তি চুক্তি স্বাক্ষৰ হৈছিল আজি বড়োলেণ্ড এটা শান্তি দ্বীপলৈ পৰিণত হৈছে বিটিচিৰ নেতৃত্বত আজি
Bodo community people who are living outside the Bodoland Territorial Council, and today we are moving in a committed endeavor to transform their lives too. I believe that cultural confluence ensures development among the people, and the Baguruma performance today here will ensure to bring closer all the communities and ethnic people in together to build a Bharatvarsh of our dreams. I would like to also thank Prime Minister Narendra Modi on behalf of the people of Assam once again. And as Hagrama Mohilari has said, during BJP's tenure, that the Bodo language was given recognition not only to language but also through establishing the BTC and Bodoland Welfare Council was formed during BJP's tenure. I believe that today's program will also
স্বীকৃতি দিয়া হৈছিল অসমৰ
strengthen the unity among us further, and the ideals of Bodo Upendranath Brahma will be realized in letter and spirit. In the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, today here amongst us has taken the respect and pride of the Bodo community to another level. Thousands of people today have come together to witness this massive performance, and right now as we speak here, each and every person in the state of Assam is witnessing this massive confluence of people on television. This weight by the people signifies the unity. We are out of words as far as thanking Prime Minister Narendra Modi is concerned. I appeal each and every person here to light up their on their
ঐতিহাসিক নৃত্যলৈ
to give a standing ovation to Narendra Modi. I want to turn the flashlights of their mobile and wave, giving a standing ovation to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
নিজৰ নিজৰ আসনত থিয় হৈ হাত তালিৰে মোদী ডাঙৰীয়াক সকলোৱে সম্বৰ্ধনা জনাওক আৰু মোবাইল আমি আকৌ এবাৰ সুন্দৰভাৱে ইফালৰ পৰা সিফালৰে আমি মোদী ডাঙৰীয়াক সম্বৰ্ধনা জনাম সকলোৱে মোৰ লগত একেলগে ক'ব
লাইভ ট্ৰান্সলেট
নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী বহুত বহুত ধন্যবাদ জয় হিন্দ বন্দে মাতৰম
धन्यवाद महाशय आपने असम की सांस्कृतिक धरोहर को संजाते हुए बागुरुम्बा नृत्य प्रदर्शन का इस भव्य आयोजन कर पूरे विश्व के सामने इसे सुप्रतिष्ठित किया। अब मैं हमारे परम श्रद्धाभाजन प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी से विनम्र निवेदन करूंगी कि वे अपने बहुमूल्य प्रेरणादायी एवं मार्गदर्शक उद्बोधन से इस ऐतिहासिक क्षण को अविस्मरणीय बनाएं।
नमस्कार खुलुमबाई
খবর মাঘ বিহু আৰু মাঘ দোমাসীৰ শুভেচ্ছা আৰু মৰম জনাইছো। असम के राज्यपाल लक्ष्मण प्रसाद आचार्य जी, मुख्यमंत्री हिमंता बिश्वा शर्मा जी, केंद्र में मेरे सहयोगी सर्बानंद सोनेवाल जी, पवित्रा मार्गरीटा जी, असम विधानसभा के अध्यक्ष विश्वजीत दोईमारी जी, बोडोलैंड टेरिटोरियल काउंसिल के चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव मेंबर हगरामा मोहिलारी जी, राज्य सरकार के मंत्रीगण, सभी गणमान्य नागरिक बंधु भगिनी और असम के मेरे भाइयों और बहनों, मेरा सौभाग्य है कि मुझे असम की संस्कृति, यहां की बोडो परंपराओं को करीब से देखने का अवसर मिलता रहा है। प्रधानमंत्री के तौर पर जितना मैं असम आया हूं, पहले कोई पीएम नहीं आया है। मेरी हमेशा इच्छा रहती है असम की कला और संस्कृति को बड़ा मंच मिले। भव्य आयोजनों के जरिए इसकी पहचान देश और दुनिया में बने, इसके लिए पहले भी लगातार प्रयास होते रहे हैं। बड़े स्तर पर बिहू से जुड़े आयोजन हो, जुमोइर बिनोंदिनी की अभिव्यक्ति हो, दिल्ली में 1.25 साल पहले हुआ भव्य बोडोलैंड महोत्सव हो या दूसरे सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रम हो, असम की कला संस्कृति में जो अद्भुत आनंद है, वो पाने का मैं कोई भी मौका नहीं छोड़ता हूं। आज एक बार फिर बागुरुम्बा का ये आयोजन होने जा रहा है। ये आयोजन बोडो पहचान का जीवंत उत्सव है। ये बोडो समाज का, असम की विरासत का सम्मान भी है। मैं आयोजन से जुड़े सभी लोगों